Hello, Joe Joe in the Morning family. I hope everybody is having a really good day. I'm going to put up a disclaimer for today. This is not going to be the normal Joe Joe in the Morning. It's going to be one of those sorry, not sorry type of videos. This is one of the reasons I am starting the mentoring program in June. More details to come on the different tiers of it, because I want to help people, okay? Recently, I got an email, and this lady had said, I want to say that I still haven't forgiven you. Don't know this lady, never met this lady. And I said, oh, okay, well, sorry if I offended you. I'm being polite, because I'm a nice guy. She said, no, 3 years ago, I had messaged you and asked for prayer. My husband and I both are overweight and our finances are really bad. And you said you would pray for me. I said, okay. And then, so I said, well, I'll pray for y'all. She said, well, my husband died and my finances are, I don't know what to do. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know your husband had passed away. And she said, yeah, he died from obesity. And now my finances are worse than ever. But the reason I'm mad at you is because you prayed for me. I knew you would pray for me, but you also told me about your health program. Anybody tracking with me? Had another lady message me. I tried to give her some advice on some different things. She had a little bit of money, and I told her how she could do some different investments and different things. But you know, it's kind of one of those, let's say your bills are $5,000 a month and you make $4,000 a month. It won't be long and you'll be out of all money. And it was one of those, I kept giving her advice on different things she could do, how to, you know, even buy some smaller properties and you know, generate money, different things. And just over the few years, she never did anything. And then she said, why would God let this happen to me? It's the old story about, it started to rain and the man said, God rescue me. And somebody came by in a vehicle. Hey, hurry, it's raining. Let's get out of town. No, God will rescue me. Had a two-story house, went to the next place. A guy in a boat came by. Hey, let's go. And the guy said, no, you know, it's raining. You know, God will rescue me. The water kept rising. The guy got on the roof. Somebody came down in a helicopter and said, hey, man, come on, jump on. The guy said, no, God's going to rescue me. 3 times God gave him an opportunity. I had a prophetic word recently, and the Lord spoke to me about opportunities. And he said, I give people the opportunities and they do not accept them. The word says his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So have you ever thought that the answers God gives you is going to be different? It's not going to look like you think it's going to look. And what I talk about is what I know. My wife and I, we are health coaches. I have a few rental properties. I have done some investments. You know, I've written numerous books. We have a church. I travel. This is what I do, so this is what I know. In America, there are more opportunities than you could ever imagine. There's opportunities everywhere. If you're failing financially, I can help you. Find somebody to help you. If it's not me, find somebody. And do not take advice from a broke joker. Had somebody that's real close to me come up and said, hey man, I'm taking this class from a guy who is a kingdom entrepreneur. The class costs, I went, maybe I start teaching classes. I said, awesome. Ooh, that's a steep price. What kind of business does this guy have that's this kingdom entrepreneur? Oh, he doesn't have any businesses. He's a pastor. So you're going to pay a guy $1,000 a month to teach you how to be a kingdom entrepreneur? and he doesn't even have a business? Guy said, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of like getting stock advice from somebody that doesn't have stock. The reason people are in the situation that they're in is because they don't think. I think my favorite book, one of my favorite books I ever wrote, was Kingdom Thinking. People don't know how to think kingdom. People don't know how to think logical. I mean, there are certain things you have to do, but it's like, this guy I kind of know, he called me one day and he said, pray for me, man. My wife and I are really going through a hard time, but I am seeking some advice and counsel. I said, okay, cool. He told me who he's getting counsel from. I said, I know that guy. Hasn't he been married 4 times? Y'all tracking with me? Get in the room with the right people. Whenever I joined our health coaching program, I met some phenomenal people. And one or two of the top leaders would always say, get in the small rooms, get in the small rooms, get in the small rooms. And so I started getting in the small rooms where the main leaders were, the guys that were making an income. And I just asked one guy, I said, hey man, how much you make? And I said, oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. You make that much a year? He said, oh no, that's a month. I said, what? There are opportunities out there. I got a friend of mine, his wife is in a business. It's not the business I'm in, it's another business, killing it. And she said, all I do is I love people, I'm kind to people, and I help people. I know people that are doing different types of real estate things that are absolutely killing. I was talking to one of my friends the other day and he told me what he was doing. And I said, man, that's brilliant. Can you show me some stuff? He started teaching me some things. Why am I so passionate and borderline frustrated right now? Because how many people email me and say, I'm about to lose my car. I'm about to lose my house. And I ask simple questions. Do you have a part-time job? Can you do a part-time business? Can you do something? And when they say no, man, come on. This is the hour that kingdom entrepreneurs are needed. People are looking for people to follow. People are looking for successful people who are full of God and full of godly wisdom in ministries and businesses. Had somebody call me the other day, they were mad. I can't find any good ministries in my city. I said, then why don't you start one? Oh, I don't want to start one. Then quit griping about the ones that are out there doing something. Jump in with them. Help somebody. I kind of had a guy call me one time. He was griping. He said, I was looking for a book over a certain subject and I couldn't find it. I said, then write the book. Well, why would I want to do that? Because somebody else may need it. Ed Millett, I like Ed Millett. He said this one time, if you ever see a family that there was a millionaire in that family, somebody had to be the first one. Do you know how many ministers are first generation ministers in their family? Do you know how many people are the first person that got a college degree in their family? Do you know how many people out there that I know are the first person that started a business in their family? If it's never been done in your family, maybe you're the one. Maybe you're the one to bring in radical Christianity. I don't mean just a believer. I'm talking radical Christianity into your family. Maybe you are the one that is called to start that first business. Be that first person with a degree. I'll never forget the day I had two back-to-back meetings in my office. One guy was in his 70s explaining how he was losing his house and had to move his 70-year-old wife in a camper trailer because that's all they could afford. And I asked him, I said, well, man, you seem like a hard worker. I mean, have you not worked all your life? Ever since I was 15, I had a job. Sometimes I'd have two jobs. Never saved, never stayed at a job more than 6 or 7 years. Just bounced around. But never learned a trade, never learned how to get a job where he could make some finances for his family. His wife messaged me one day, and she said, we're in financial trouble and it's cold outside. After he left, I was hurt. I was sad because I knew what they were about to go through. And my next visit was a guy in his upper 20s. Upper 20s. Dream house, dream cars. Just already had them, like this was important to them. Nice boat, nice camper trailer, all this stuff. I mean, they just had it going their way. Love God, tithe like 20%. I mean, they were moving in the right direction. Is this making sense, anybody? I was listening to a guy the other day. His name is Earl Nightingale. He's an old, he teaches life lessons and kind of like a motivational guy. And this was back in the 60s. He said there's 14 million people at this time, this recording, in America that was over 65 years of age, and 13 million of the 14 million were flat broke. Flat broke. And even in those days, you went to work early. Like, I don't understand how people who know God listen to God. And another reason I feel a little frustrated is I've probably talked to 20 people in the last 2 weeks that in the past told me God gave them a word, and now they're not even doing it, and they're wondering why they're in this situation that they're in. Why am I so passionate about mentoring? Because when you tell me God gave you a prophetic word, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to remind you about it. I'm going to hold you accountable. And I'm going to help you to be able to build towards what you're called to do. Building things, it's not hard. It's just daily commitment, daily building. You can build ministry. You can build businesses. You build a family. You build a marriage. You build something strong. People don't have tenacity. They're not tenacious enough to build. I remember when I started investing, I was in my 20s, and this guy said, Joe, can you give $50 a month? And I was like, man, I can try. And I gave 50. And I remember I called him one day. I said, hey, man, I want to bump it all the way up to 100. He said, woo. 150, 200, 250, 300. One day I called and said, I want to monthly give $350. That doesn't sound like much to anybody, okay? But when you keep working and building and growing, as you get older, it amounts to something. The other day I was sitting there. My now 11-year-old son came up, sat down on the arm of the chair by me. I sat there like this. He on the arm of the chair, he sat right here. Leaned over, said, all right, Dad, let's look at those stocks and cryptos. I opened up my phone. He was like, man, that looks good, Dad. Man, you had a great day in the market. He was how good it was. A few days later, he came and said, hey, Dad, let's look at your stocks and cryptos. I said, oh, son, let's don't look today. He said, no, Dad, I want to see it. Let's pull your phone out. So he reached over and grabbed my phone and said, let's look, Dad. So I said, you don't want to look, son. He said, yeah, I do. So we looked. He's like, ooh, red. Everything's down. Buy more. If you don't understand, that's the strategy, okay? When stocks are going down, you buy more. My son is 11 years old and already knows the basic strategies on how to advance in that. When I was young, my dad gave me some advice. He said, son, always serve the good Lord. Always give the Lord what is his. That's how he talked about like tithing. And my dad used to love watching Billy Graham crusades. I remember he'd always write him a check and sow into that ministry. And he would always say, son, if your job doesn't pay the bills, get you a second job. If that job doesn't pay the bills, get you a third job. And if that job doesn't pay the bills, get you a fourth job. But also do a business for yourself. And I remember when Autumn and I were young, she was still in college and I was doing some different ministry things. And at one point I had 4 side jobs. I would do different things. I did what I had to do so I could do ministry, marriage, and finances. I'm telling you, friends, this is so on my heart right now because and it breaks my heart how many people message me on a daily basis. You know, I understand right now in some of the nations of the world, economy's tough. I understand that. Inflation's high. A lot of stuff going on. My friends that started side businesses years ago, they're not struggling right now. People who work their way up corporations, they're not struggling right now. People who just barely got by when the economy was good, they're struggling right now. I know so many people who've sold their house or putting their house up for sale. And if a video like this can save a few families, it's worth it. It's just this is the way things are. The Bible says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Get around the right people. If you don't want to do my mentoring starting in June, that's fine. There's a lot of really, really good people. Some people like the group mentoring. Some like one-on-one mentoring. And I'm going to tell you, I've got some friends that have some people mentoring them, and they pay a lot of money for it. And a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't charge. Like, I got a friend of mine, to be in his program, it's 4 digits. And somebody says, well, that's a lot of money. I said, well, he gives you individual time. He's got a staff. And I got a friend of mine. Now I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not doing this. But there's 3 entrepreneuring gurus doing a training for 1 year. It's $36,000, $3,000 a month. Every week they get an hour video. The 3 of them do it together. Then each week, one of them does it. It's $3,000 a month. And my friend says, Joe, it's the best $36,000 I've ever spent. He said, but my return on it. See, a lot of people don't want to invest in anything. Books are all over my desk. Audio books. My phone is filled up with audio books. Main book is the Bible. Okay? Always putting stuff in me. Because I want to be the best version of me. I want to be the best version God has called me to be. One of the biggest problems we have is God gives us dreams and visions, gifts, talents, and abilities, but we never maximize them. That's what this video is for, is to challenge you. In the right season, if a farmer doesn't plant seed, he won't get a harvest. Okay? I want you to love you guys. I want to help you. If you need prayer, go to my website, jojodawson.net. Go to the place of prayer. Send me prayer requests. I want to pray for you. I want to see spiritually, I can help you break through. I carry a breakthrough anointing. And two, man, if we can do some mentoring, I can get in there to help you. I've got people in my life that help me. I want to help you succeed in what God has called you to do. And I want to thank our financial and prayer partners. Thank you for everybody that sows. I really appreciate you guys. People that want to sow, you can go to the website, or you can email me and I'll send you the different links for Cash App and PayPal. And I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I put a lot of time in these, okay? And so I want to help a lot of people. That's my thought for the day. My wife and I the other day were sitting on our front porch, first floor, front porch, and we were just talking how many people are going through a hard time. And we said we want to help as many people as we can to push through. And some of you may be doing great financially, but you're just stuck at a level that you want to break through. And I'll tell you what's cool. I'll tell you what's real cool. I'm going to do a different video on this one day. But there's a lot of people in ministry getting into business, a lot of people in business getting into ministry. A lot of business owners are creating churches. It's a good thing. It's a neat season. Love you guys.